Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the biggest pinfalls of the year. I, of course, am who else but Tommy Ellis, and with me, as always, my associate, my partner in crime, I suppose. Coming to us from Skokie, Illinois, he is the man on the beat from JohnG'sBeat.com, Mr. John WrestleMania Wroblewski. How you doing,
I'm
buddy?
ready. Let's go. Let's go. Well, if it's the biggest one of the year, it's got to be the biggest one ever then, because WrestleMania keeps getting bigger.
Right. Well, just to put it in context, in case those who may not know, this is the showcase of the immortals. This is where icons are born and legends are made, where dreams come true. It's the granddaddy of them all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is WrestleMania 41. This
Nicely
is
put.
this is the biggest day of the year, well, 2 days now of the year in professional wrestling. This is when the calendar year, so to speak, turns over for professional wrestling. Storylines and things like that tend to have their big culmination, the big ones at WrestleMania. It has been home to many memorable moments and matches for 41 years now, and looks to try to top itself yet again this year, coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Can you imagine how much it must cost to be at WrestleMania with the way the economy is right now?
I'll
I don't
bet
worry.
you. I'll
I
bet you
mean,
that. Well, there's got
to
to be
just
seats in
to just
6,000.
to just go to Vegas. I mean, forget WrestleMania. Just to go to, I mean, to go to Vegas, like 10 years ago, it was like you could get a bottle of water for $8. It's like Vegas is already super expensive.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's even worse now since I was last there. And then Mania comes to town. It's, right where they're at is there's nowhere else to go but those restaurants and everything. So they can all charge whatever the hell they want and they got everybody. I mean, man, and then pay for WrestleMania and everything that goes along with it too. Because if you go all the way out there, then you're probably going to Access. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine.
About
But
20 years ago, I paid $8 for two aspirin because I had a throbbing headache.
yeah, yeah, no, it's everything in Vegas
Ooh.
is just it's insane. It's insane. So I can't even imagine what it must be like to have to go there to do this right now. But nevertheless, that place will be packed, and history will once again be made. Do you have our numbers before we proceed?
I don't know the exact number. However, you are up by
What do
one
you mean
this
you don't
year.
have? Okay, all right,
May
all
I?
right. Yeah.
You are up by one this year, which makes us tied for history.
Okay,
I believe you are 7-2, and I'm 6-3.
okay.
But you're up by one.
So Mania is also the biggest pay-per-view of the year for us because this has the most matches between that we're predicting on at one time here because we've 2 nights worth of matches to have to call here. So this can be a real big sway for the year. If one of us kills it on WrestleMania and the other one, took a
That
took
could
a
be a big
hit,
hole.
it could
Big
be
hole bug.
a real tough one to recover from going forward. So we'll see how this all shakes out. But
But it is amazing that into our fourth year, I think this is, only we're tied. That's ridiculous.
yeah,
And really good records too. It's not like we're tied in, sub 500. We're above five, well above 500 overall.
well, yeah. But I mean, it ebbs and flows. 1 year one of us is obviously scoring higher than the other. Hopefully this
I
year.
chased you for a while.
Yes, you did, and I intend to get back to that ebb.
Yeah, good luck with
Get
that.
get out of this flow. All right, we got a lot to get to, so let's get going to it. We've got Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending their WWE Women's Tag Teams titles against Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. So Bailey and Lyra Valkyria just won a gauntlet match like last week, I think, to qualify for this match for these titles. I don't think that they're a good tag team. I think it's, you and I have talked about tag teams. Here's the thing. I shouldn't say they're not a good tag team, but like that was like, as far as I know, one of the first times they ever tagged together. Okay. And now they're going to WrestleMania. And you and I have talked about, tag teams that are just thrown together.
Yeah.
So I'm just not a fan of it. I mean, for all I know, they are a good tag team, but we literally have seen them like once, and now they're going to Mania, you know. Uh, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have been together for at least long enough to establish chemistry with one another as a tag team. Held the titles for not a long time, but I don't know, a few months now. But have been buddies and on the road for a long time, so they at least have that going for them. So all signs would point to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, but I'm calling a WWE blunder, and I think they're going to go and put those titles on Bailey and Lyra Valkyria anyway. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but I think that they're throwing them in there last minute for some reason. I don't think they're throwing them in there just to go lose at WrestleMania. So there
Well,
you
I'm
go.
calling this Tommy Else blunder, and I do think they are going in there for one reason. That reason is to split them up into a feud. I'm calling for the loss here. Champs retain the titles.
Okay.
I think it's
So
a stupid way to start a feud, but that's the end result.
do you think they're trying to start a feud between Bailey and Lyra?
Yeah.
No. I mean, if anything, they would be trying to do something to split up Liv and Rodriguez.
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. We got our first one, and we got one that's going to be on the line. All right. Good.
For a title too.
Next one up, World Tag Team Champions. On the men's side, we've got the War Raiders versus the New Day. Um,
The New Day.
I I don't think anybody is enjoying the New Day, but I think that's also the point. So it's kind of a Dominic Mysterio type of situation where it's sometimes you don't like a character or you don't like a gimmick or something like that, and it's not that you're getting like getting entertaining heat, for it. You just don't like it, and you just don't even want to watch it. It's just, not your
Yeah.
thing. And I think a lot of people feel like that about the New Day. But even if that's the case, it's a strong enough emotion that it would get more emotion out of everybody if the New Day wins and pisses everyone off than if the War Raiders were to somehow beat them. You know, like if the War Raiders get over on the New Day, yeah, I mean that's great and everything, but the New Day winning and the turning the crowd upside down like that was going to get more of an emotional reaction. So I'm going with the New Day.
For the same reasons, I am also going with the New Day. I think they got to build themselves. They need to be built into. I mean, they're already credible, but I think they need to be built again on this side of the face heel tandem.
If they're going to do this heel thing, they need to, they're dancing around the whole thing right now. They need a serious push, and make them an evil entity,
This is
So,
exactly it. Yes.
right. Okay. Moving along, we have a Sin City street fight. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Uh, this is kind of a tough one. I'm just like I'm really burned out on Drew McIntyre. I just can't get excited about Drew McIntyre. And no matter what he does or who he feuds with, it's just kind of the same old thing. And he's frustrated and he's the victim. And it's like, I don't know. I'm just, and so this one is a little tougher to call without just interjecting my own bias. I'm gonna lean over to Damian Priest for this. I think he has more to win by winning the thing. I don't know where this leaves Drew McIntyre if he loses, but I also don't see like what it does for him if he wins either. So if anybody's got anything to gain in this, it's Damian Priest by winning. The only way he could maybe somehow get something out of it is if Drew McIntyre won, but there was some real heroic ass, match between them that Damian Priest, I don't know, did something amazing and I don't know. So, but I'm gonna go with Damian Priest.
Once again, I agree 100%. Damian Priest, a win here would do a little bit more for him, certainly more for him than McIntyre. I agree. McIntyre, I don't know what he's doing. When you were describing it, I started thinking of people on social media, and it's always whine, 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 and nobody really cares. Move along, scroll past. Damian Priest wins.
Yeah.
I might go off for the pizza at that point.
All right, we've got Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Um, so the story on this here is at one point, several months back, um, Naomi had jumped Jade Cargill in the back, putting her out of action for quite some time. When she was healthy enough, she showed up at the Elimination Chamber. She came out and she dragged Naomi out of there and beat the crap out of her, and they've been going at it ever since. This has been Naomi's heel turn, and I don't think it's going very well for her personally. But I think they want to start bringing her into like the bloodline, stuff. You know, right now there's no real bloodline, so to speak. But I think they want to start getting her to be known as part of that family and things like that. And I think that they want to push her as a heel. Um, so while Cargill would technically be due to get some comeuppance for the attack, she has been catching her and beating on Naomi for weeks. I think in an effort to push Naomi as a heel, she will get the win over Jade Cargill at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one. Your thought on the bloodline? I mean, good God, do we need more bloodline? Could we just end the bloodline
I don't know
forever?
how if they'd even specifically say that, but I mean, like, I just think they want to start like getting her associated with like Jimmy and Jay and things like that. So,
Well,
but
I guess, but it's better than putting her with the New Day just because they're all black.
right.
That's been done before. But anyway, getting back to the point, I do agree with you. Naomi needs this. She needs to really establish herself as a heel. It's been kind of lukewarm at best. I see this being a really good match though, and I don't know if it
Well,
continues or if this is the blow off. Maybe do they go in a cage next? Do they do no DQ?
they
But
could do
either way,
something. They could certainly do something after this, but I mean, the thing is they haven't done very much with Jade Cargill since she's been there. At least not nothing that I've thought was that great. She had the tag championships with Belair and everything, but singles wise, she hasn't done much. So this is a chance where Naomi can win and get something out of it. But if Cargill puts on a good match, now this makes it so that they have something to start elevating her with.
right.
It's she's gotta give them something to work with, and then they can start building her up. But it's like she's there. She's well received. Everybody thinks she looks awesome. She's proven she's very strong. We know she can work when she has to, but they don't have her doing it much. I don't put it on her. They're
No,
just not giving her stuff to do. But this is a chance for her to prove herself, and that's what she'll walk out of this with. So,
we agree again.
okay, we've got Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, and this is my kind of WrestleMania match, man. This I love. I love the whole like Chad Gable with the alter ego El Grande Americano and everything. It reminds me of the old Mr. America that Hulk Hogan did there for in the early around
Yellow
2003 or
Dog, Mr.
so.
America,
Right, yeah. I love it.
Midnight Rider.
Yeah, I love when it's clearly that person, and but they just, you know, just like Santino and Santina Marella. I mean, like I love it. Classic pro wrestling here. So for
Erica
Chad
St.
Gable,
Juan.
yeah, for Chad Gable, this has been a long time in the making because they set this up. They set this up way back, at least in the summer, if not earlier, where he kept losing luchadors, and so he decided that he had this weakness that against luchadors, and so he went to Dominic Mysterio to teach him how to become a better wrestler and how to beat luchadors. So now he's come back. He's not coming in as he doesn't, I guess, want to risk his reputation as Chad Gable. So now he's come in as this El Grande Americano, and is going to be fighting Rey Mysterio. So this will be interesting to see if Ray's son comes out and interferes in this or gets involved in any way. Honestly, I'd rather it just be this two of them have it because Rey Mysterio versus, I mean, this is Rey Mysterio versus Chad Gable is what we're looking at, and that's going to be a great wrestling match. I mean, that's just on its own. Throw on top of it this insane gimmick that he's got to wear and do while it's going on. It's gonna be this might be this might be the match I'm looking forward to the most at this point. This just sounds like a fun match because of the long-term story that has gone into this. I'm going with El Grande Americano. He's got to get his win on this, man. I think he's earned it. Chad Gable has just been, he's killing it out there, and he never wins a damn thing, and they never give him anything. And this story got started, and they planted the seeds a long time ago, and now it's come all the way to the point where he's got to prove himself not only against a luchador, but the luchador in Rey Mysterio.
Well, if your potential scenario of Dominic comes through, I don't see what that does nothing for anybody. And good God, we don't need to see Dominic versus Ray again. So hopefully that part doesn't come to
No,
happen.
like I said, I'd rather this be just
Yeah,
the two of them. I just, given the storyline, I could see how they could do it if they wanted.
but Ray doesn't need to win. Or Grande, whatever, needs to win. As you said, it's a long-term story build. If he loses, what do we get? We get a rematch, and he's just spinning his wheels. He's got to win this match. It's going to be a really good match, though. I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, no, you got two solid guys there. Obviously, Gable is very, Kurt Angle-esque, and Angle and Mysterio always rolled around with some really great matches. So,
I mean, I
uh,
could see them doing. I
plus
could see
these guys
them.
go, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, plus the difference though is Angle was a bigger guy, whereas Gable's a shorter dude who's closer to Ray's. He's still taller, but not by a whole lot. So to see those two guys who have similar builds too, and who are both fast and technical and everything like that's man, that's going to be a match. That's going to be a
I
match.
I could see it leading to a mask versus mask. Mysterio loses and
That
then
would be
puts the
great.
mask on the
Yeah,
line
no, you're right, and that I mean that would be. It's
because
got
Ray
to.
won't lose his mask. If they do a
No,
mask,
and then
mask, he's not
eventually
going
he because and then eventually you have to expose El Grande for being Chad Gable at some point. So, yeah, you lose the mask. But no, it starts at WrestleMania when El Grande Americano, and again, the promos they've been cutting, his entrance, all of it. I mean, that's pro wrestling gold right there. If they've done one thing right so far in 2025, this was it. I love it.
agree.
Okay, coming up next, we've got the United States Championship on the line. LA Knight will be defending against Jacob Fatu. Um, so they're really pushing Jacob Fatu. Uh, and LA Knight, it's a bummer because I feel like he's still a crowd favorite, but I don't feel like he's got the lightning behind him that he should. I feel like he really like was on fire there for a while. everybody's still happy to see him when he comes out. They're still doing the LA Night, yeah, chants with him and everything. He's cutting good promos. But there's just something there's an edge that's just not there right now. I don't know what it is. And I know that the back seems to be real big on Fatu. And in all fairness, I mean that guy jumps to the top rope and then does like a effortless moonsault, for somebody his size
Oh yeah.
into the middle of the ring and does it like it's no big. He jumps off the ground, runs up, runs up them ropes, and then bang, no big deal. Crazy. Um, this will be a great match. I am very torn on it. I think that there's a good chance that I'm going to put my money on Jacob Fatu. I do think it's going to be close, but if I gotta go, this is not an easy decision, but I'm going to go with Fatu on this one.
See, I thought it was fairly easy. I'm going with Fatu. Fatu needs big wins. They're building up so far. For him to lose now to a guy that, as you said, kind
My
of
worry is like, what are they going to do with LA Knight? It's like, because,
maybe
all
he goes
right,
away for a while.
maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, I worry because it's like I'm like he's right there, but there's something that's just not clicking right now that he could be firing on just one more cylinder and it would be excellent, but it's not there. So I worry if you take the title off of him, then where is he? Unless he is going to go away for a while. Because if you stick around, I mean, it's just you're exposing yourself. It looks like, well, now you lost. Now you're in the back of the line. I mean, now who the hell are you now?
Yeah,
So
but conversely, the other way, okay, so they built up Fatu this far, and then he goes against LA Knight and
no, I
loses.
get it, and
Where's
that's
he
why
go?
that's why I'm going with Fatu. But I'm just saying, I don't like. I'm not saying Fatu doesn't deserve it. I just would like to see. I like LA Knight. I wish better things for him. So
Why
there
don't you
it
pick him then?
is. You think if he heard this, it would make or break his
This
chances?
might be the cylinder that he needs to
He
pop.
he might be like listening to this as he's standing backstage about to go out at WrestleMania and listening to this part of the podcast, and then it just deflates him, and then he just can't pull it together out there and loses.
No, it's the other way. He goes, boy, if else needs me to do this, then I've got to do this. I'm kicking my game in gear.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see how he performs. All right. Intercontinental Championship is also on the line. The champion, Braun Breaker, has to do a four-way match, which it's not a bad lineup. I just, I guess having one four-way match is all right. I don't know. I don't know why I've been just against like four ways and triple
I
threats
hate it for
lately.
titles.
I don't know. I
I
feel
think
burnt.
it's
I,
lazy booking.
I feel burnt out on those two, but it is, well, it's fine. It's a good group of guys. So Braun Breaker champion versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. IC title on the line. So here's what I think. Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio cancel each other out. These guys are having a lot of backstage problems with each other within the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day's got to just fall apart after WrestleMania this year. Nothing good's going to go well for anybody in the Judgment Day at WrestleMania. So I think Finn Balor and Mysterio are going to finally have their breakdown in the middle of this match and they'll cancel each other out. So what you're really looking at here is Braun Breaker versus Penta. Braun Breaker's been a very good Intercontinental Champion. Penta's on fire right now, and everybody wants to see that guy win the IC title. I think this is a match where they want to send him home happy. I think Penta becomes new IC champ.
Well, they're going to send them home happy, but they're not going to send me home happy. I want to see Braun win. I want to see Braun keep going and build into just a monster run. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. I agree with you about Finn and Mysterio. I hate four ways, but then, and I always say I hate four ways for titles. The titles don't mean much anymore. They get passed around, and whose turn is it next?
And I
So
agree with you about pushing Braun Breaker and just like give him a nice long solid title run and everything. And I think that if Penta hadn't shown up, they probably, I mean, certainly in this, if this was like a triple threat, well, it'd be Braun Breaker all the way. There's no way. But,
Yeah.
and I agree, pushing him with a nice long solid because he's great. He's great. Um, Even if he wins the thing back like in a month or something from Penta at the next pay-per-view or whatever, I think they're just going to want to give Penta this one just to really, capitalize on because right now that guy's selling merch, probably even more than Breaker is. And if he gets the win at Mania, stuff like that plays a big part in who's winning these matches here. If they think this is gonna
Oh
like
yeah.
get the Penta masks out there and everything, then they'll give him the win,
Well, and I think it pushes. I think it pushes. Even though he's going to lose, or we think he's going to lose. I think we're setting up Braun for the next level, potentially going to main event matches.
Yeah, and I mean he's certainly on track. I mean he's not someone who's just going to be sitting around the IC title, forever. I'm sure he'll hold it a few times, but I mean, no, I agree 100%.
Well, we
Okay,
got one difference so far.
let's keep this train moving here. We've got AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Um, Again, Logan Paul has defied the odds and has proven a lot of people wrong, whether they liked it or not. We don't typically like seeing outsiders come in, and thinking that they can just walk in and do what these people train their whole lives to do. But every once in a blue moon, an anomaly comes along, and I'll be damned, but Logan Paul has just taken to this thing like a duck to water and has proven it over and over and over again. I can't tell you a single Logan Paul main event that I didn't think was a good match. I can't. And I don't know many people who could. I mean, it's also obviously due to who his opponents have been. He's been in there with like pretty much top people every bit of the
Yeah,
way.
but he's still. Yeah.
But you could put there. Yeah, you're right though. I mean, you could still put certain people in there that just still couldn't make that work. So a lot of respect for him. AJ Styles, you know, he's old school. He's been around forever. He's a wrestler's wrestler. He's one of the guys who's not wild about Logan Paul just walking in and being as good as he is. Um, Logan Paul right now is just a cash machine for the WWE. The man is a walking ATM. And that's really all you need to know that that guy is going to win at WrestleMania this year. He's got a brand new reality show out called Paul American with him and his brother and their wives and all that stuff. They're going to want to push that thing. They can't push it if he loses at WrestleMania, at least not as well. Uh, he's got the Prime thing going and all this stuff. All it does is if he wins, it just makes the fans hate him even more, which is what they want. AJ Styles has got nothing going on right now. So,
And a loss doesn't hurt him.
right. And a win doesn't help him all that much either.
It's
I
true.
mean, all he could do then is go on Raw the next night and just be like, well, I beat Logan Paul. Okay.
Right.
What's next for AJ Styles? Because, I mean, so yeah, so Logan Paul.
Well, this is a match like old school, like an Ole Anderson Booker would have hated this type of thing. And for all the reasons that you said, for that, Logan's an outsider coming in, the match could be swayed by the merch and the TV show. Like, as much as I like both these wrestlers and I like what Logan Paul has done, I just hate the whole concept that the match it will be swayed by that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But I have to yell at kids to get off my lawn too. So with all that being said, yeah, Logan Paul's got to win. It doesn't affect AJ. I don't know what they're going to do with AJ after this. Maybe he goes with Drew McIntyre and they're going to try to figure out where their careers went.
Jeez, a hot take from Johngy right there. All right. WWE Women's Championship is on the line when Tiffany Stratton defends against Charlotte Flair. Oh boy. Man, Charlotte Flair. I just I don't know. I don't know what happened to Charlotte Flair.
Well, we know some of the things that happened to Charlotte Flair.
Every she
Divorces,
she does,
plastic surgeries.
dude, she does not look like herself at all
No,
anymore. I
she
mean,
used to
like
be so
it
cute.
it's like every time she goes away, she comes back and looks like someone else. And it's like now it's like really, I mean, it was like, it was like it wasn't looking like her and it was weird and then it was just like, she kept screwing with it and kept screwing with it and now it's like she's got a different person's face now
She's
altogether.
barely recognizable. Like if
Right. It's seriously like she was in the
yeah,
ring. She was in the ring, and I had to look, and I was like, "Who?" I asked, "Who is that?" I mean,
yeah.
I didn't know who Tiffany Stratton was talking to, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's." I'm like, "What else did she do to herself?" And
That's
it's such a
it's probably
shame. It's
it's
such a
because
shame because she was
she's
a
very
beautiful
cute.
girl. She was
Yeah.
beautiful. Even, and that's saying something when you can get away with looking like Ric Flair and still be a beautiful girl. Because you could see Flair in
Yeah,
her even
yeah.
then, but she still had enough else going on
She did.
that you could get past that. I mean, like she was a beautiful, beautiful girl who should never have touched anything on her face.
I
Nothing.
agree.
Well, unfortunately, that doesn't all at all play into the results of the match, though. Um, so where I'm at with it is I don't know what they want to do with Charlotte Flair at this point. They've brought her back. I think that I think they brought her back because they wanted to see this match. I think they wanted to see Tiffany Stratton versus her. Uh, but if let's say Tiffany wins, or let's say Tiffany loses and Charlotte wins, then what? Are we going to be with Charlotte for the championship now again? And it's like, how is this any different from before?
Well, is she how
Why
many titles? How many title reigns has she had? That's
she's
one
like
thing.
it she's like at 15 or something like that. I mean, like it's I
One
mean,
away from dad.
this is true. Um, I think that I would I don't know if I'm going off of logic or if I'm going off emotion or maybe both, but I'm going to cast my vote for Tiffany Stratton. I just think that she she's earned it. She's really, really good. You know, she may look like the Barbie doll and all that stuff, but I'm sorry, she is like she's got like the Logan Paul thing, and like she's a really good wrestler. You can't take it away from her. She's not only a really good wrestler, she's really good on the mic, and her improv is not bad either. Which she had on display, a week or two ago when she got into it with Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, she could just hold her own in the ring. She's got everything. She should be the future and the next person going. And I just don't see any good reason for Charlotte to win other than to do the favors for Tiffany and pass the torch a little. So I'm going with Tiffany.
Well, I went back and forth on this for all the same reasons, and the thing with Charlotte, is she's one away from her dad, or she's very close to her dad. I think they want to have her get that. But then on the other hand, like I do think Stratton has deserved it, and she's had a good run, and I think they like to build her up too. So I'm really torn on this match. This is one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. Um, I'm going with Charlotte, just as you would say, like 51-49,
Yeah.
like barely.
So
I won't be surprised either way.
the thing with Charlotte getting to her dad, I believe that they're going to want to do that too. I think that they'll let her be a 16-time champion.
But maybe they don't need to do it at WrestleMania too. That's the other thing.
That's what I was going to say is that you can get her there, but you don't have to do the WrestleMania moment means more than the actual title will for Stratton, whereas
Yeah.
Flair's had like 7 or 8 main events in WrestleMania history where she's either won or been a part of the main event. So, she's gotten those. Tiffany's never had one of those. So,
Yeah, I'm really worried about my pick now.
yeah, you should be. All right. Well, too late. You already said it.
I'll live with
Um,
it.
all right, we're getting there. All right, we've got the World Heavyweight Championship Gunther versus Jay Uso. He's in your city. Well, it'll be in Las Vegas. Um, I think
Wake
that
me up with this match.
you're not into this, huh? Well, the problem with this is it's way too predictable. I mean, the storyline has been just built up. This is a classic thing of, he's doubting himself, he's doubting himself. He's he's gone like four pay-per-views that he's lost to Gunther. They're not gonna go four pay-per-views in a row that he's lost to Gunther and then have him lose again at WrestleMania. You're gonna bury his career at that point. You may as well just release him from the company. There's just not because what the hell do you do with the guy after that? So
Right.
yeah, Jey Uso is gonna win the match. It's a given. I think it's a comfort food. It's like that way. It's one thing everybody can bank on for sure is that one feel good moment they'll know for sure Jey Uso is going to win. So that's I that's my pick.
Uso for the win. Move on.
Yeah. Okay. Now we've got the women's world champion Io Sky. This is a triple threat versus Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. So far, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley have completely dismissed Io Sky as this feud has boiled over, and they have been, and she's taken it quite personally that they're not taking her seriously. I myself am not the biggest Io Sky fan, and she's great in the ring. It's just when you can't speak English and and it's like you can only get so much personality across, or maybe it's that I don't understand Japanese, I won't put the blame on her, but I don't know what she's saying, so I can't get behind her as a character. I think her gear is cool. I think that her fighting style is cool and everything, but so they're doing the whole, putting her aside, and so they'll probably, I mean, anything's possible, but I'm not going to put too much thought into this outside of that. I think that Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley will discount each other, and Io Sky will end up winning the match, and then they'll have
Wow,
like,
I thought for sure this was going to be a different one. Yeah, Io Sky, same reasons. Um, Again, though, I wouldn't be surprised if it went one or the other ways, but I think they built it up to the point, like you said, where they're discounting her and they're almost hammering it into us that they're discounting her.
yeah,
So, but you know what she needs is like she needs to come up. They need to give her like a catchphrase, some American thing, or even in China,
right. She doesn't even have
something
to.
like that.
If
Even
she
like that, that can carry it.
Right. Like have a nice day somehow, like for
Yeah,
McFoley, just get her one line. That's all she's got to say, and the place will chant it, and
yeah,
she'll be over for like the next 10 years. She'll have
yeah.
t-shirts and gear and all that. Just get her one thing. She doesn't even have to learn all the stuff, It's
They need to bring Santino back to teach her language.
yeah. Okay.
I guess
We've got two main events here left. So let's do the Saturday
Could you
nights.
really have two main events?
What?
Could you really have two main events?
No, they are very adamant, however, about trying to get people to start thinking in those terms and even and using that vernacular. I mean, that's why so for Saturday night, they're making a point of saying that CM Punk is finally getting his WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's like Sammy and Kevin Owens saying how they won the tag titles in the main event at WrestleMania. No, you didn't. I'm
Right.
sorry. And you know what? They know it too. They
That's
know it,
it.
and Punk knows it. He knows that that's not the main event. Sunday night's the main event, the last
Yeah.
match of the thing. And this is why it should be one night. This is one of many reasons. This should be a one night thing. I mean,
Well, again,
I didn't want to get into it and
the,
belabor it for the millionth time, but I'm sorry. This is a one night thing they should be doing, and they need to stop making it a double affair, a double night affair.
but this is what happens when you have
They
42.
won't. What?
This is what happens when you have 42 titles. You got to get a bunch of the title matches on there, and that's already like 8 or 9 matches right there.
You don't have to, it doesn't have to be Night of Champions. You don't have to put every damn championship on the line at WrestleMania. You could have
Oh, well,
three
you got
cha
to put most of them.
if you have, no, you don't. You could have a, if you could do like say 8 to 10 matches for a WrestleMania and have like four title matches out of them and you'd be fine. You could do more than that, but I think if you had at least four titles, you're good.
Well, when you go to
You get a tag,
WrestleMania,
you get an intermediate, you get a world champion. If you've got two world champions, then maybe,
no, you need a
so
woman's.
all right, so there's your woman, so that's what, five. Anyway, let's get on with it. Saturday night's main event is going to be a triple threat. We've got Roman Reigns versus CM Punk with Paul Heyman in his corner versus Seth Rollins. The big story here, of course, is Paul Heyman. Back at War Games, Roman Reigns' team was short a person. They needed somebody, and Paul Heyman went and he recruited CM Punk to be a part of it, which CM Punk said he'd be happy to and help Reigns get the win. And assuming that they would win, he would be owed a favor by Paul Heyman to be cashed in at his discretion. So we find ourselves here at WrestleMania. There's a triple threat match between Reigns, Punk, and Rollins. And so the favor cashed in was that Punk, who was once also represented by Paul Heyman, would like Paul Heyman to represent him and be his manager in this triple threat match, leaving behind the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins, who's kind of in the middle of this, is just trying to play both of these guys with the Heyman factor. And there's a lot of bad blood between these guys, but you've got Seth Rollins has got heat with Punk, big time. Seth Rollins has heat with Roman Reigns, as he's been a real problem with the bloodline. Punk has definitely got heat with Seth Rollins. I don't know how much he really cares about Roman Reigns, especially since he doesn't have the title. Uh, I don't know how much Reigns really cares about Punk, and
Well,
I think
he's got his man. He's got Paul Heyman. He
other
definitely has.
than well now he cares about it because of, I mean, otherwise up till now he hasn't really had an issue with him. But Rollins has been all over Punk for like, since the day he showed up here. Okay. So, with all of that said, I actually think that Roman Reigns is going to win this match. I think that there is a chance, this is not an official part of my prediction, but I think that there is a chance that Heyman will actually screw CM Punk. I see going forward, CM Punk and Rollins, they're the feud. They're the real feud in this whole thing, is those two guys. So for either of them to win it doesn't have to happen. Reigns can win this. Somehow it'll work out for them. And then going forward, they're going to get into a feud with Rollins and CM Punk, because that's a long-standing, boiling over thing. And Reigns is kind of like the third man in this situation. They're weaving him in there with the Paul Heyman thing and stuff, but I don't think it's strong enough that, I think that they'll just let him win it, and those two guys are going to have to deal with each other going forward.
You were so close. I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to actually say the right answer. Heyman is going to screw over Punk, but he's going to screw over Punk by aligning with Rollins. Rollins for the win. The feud is Rollins versus Punk. That is the future. I don't know what happens with Reigns. I don't care what happens with Reigns. Maybe he goes on another hiatus. Don't care. Take the tribe, go to your island, sit down. Punk versus Rollins is the future. Heyman goes with Rollins.
That would be something.
Rollins
and it would be, and with the way that Rollins has been talking with Heyman, there could be logic behind that, because he keeps trying to say like he doesn't, he's using you and he's using you, Uh, that's an interesting take. I like that. I like that. Well, there you go. We've got a difference there. I don't put that out of that's a very strong possibility. That's a very strong possibility. And I think honestly that would be the more entertaining way to go. So,
There you
uh,
go.
but vote. I might cast my vote. So there it is.
Be different. Go
Okay,
fun.
here we go. Here we go. This is it. The undisputed. Nobody disputes. Nobody disputes. This WWE champion, Mr. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, will be going one-on-one with the franchise himself, Mr. John Cena. Well, I think a lot of people have a good feeling as to where this is going to go. I think it's more a matter of why and where do you think it's going to go afterwards. I am 100% behind Cena winning this thing. John Cena has to, this thing goes nowhere if John Cena doesn't win. Cena's contract goes until December. Okay, here's where I think this how this is going to shake down. Cena will win however he does. Maybe The Rock gets involved. I don't know what random rapper they'll pull out, and drop in the ring or whatever. I'm sure the thing will be just insanity, and it'll be just a wild show and everything. But at the end of the day, Cena's going to win. Now, Cena's saying he's pulling the old Punk story. I'm taking this title, and I'm leaving the company with this title. Okay, that means that from now until December, he's got to hang on to it. And from now until then, everything in the WWE becomes about who's going to save the title, who's going to go and get the title off of Cena. He might hold off and do limited dates and like find ways around stuff, and because he's a heel, he can do that stuff now. He can duck around that sort of stuff, and then he'll have to defend it here and there and whatever. But who can be the one? And then that's going to be a big deal come next December, because whoever it is, because somebody will do it, but whoever it is who can finally get the title back from him, that's you're a made man. So, and it could be Cody Rhodes. They could. I wouldn't want to see them spend this whole time making it Cody versus Cena between now and December. I want to see all of the big guys. I want to see Randy Orton. I mean, like, if this is going to be his farewell tour, then let's see some like matches. Let's get Orton and those guys out there and everything, and try to see if they can get the title back from him. Because to me, that could be like the best 9 months of wrestling in front of us, of
Yeah.
pro wrestling. Just that storyline alone. Cena has handled this heel turn like a master. I am thoroughly impressed with the way that he's done it. His promos have been absolutely incredible. Uh, Cody's doing a great job keeping up with him, but that's what he's doing, is he's keeping up with him. I mean, like, Cena. I mean, you forget, man, that he does have it in him. I mean, and when he had to turn on the switch and do it, man, he did it, and it was great. I mean, so the promos he's cut since he turned heel, some of the best things I've seen him do, and I can't think of how long. So I'm loving the whole thing. There's a lot of people who don't like any of this, but I'm loving it, and I think this stands the potential if he's got to win this, and then they gotta just do it. Just it's the time bomb ticking, you know, and we're gonna cut the wire in time by December to save the title. I mean, that is some pro wrestling right there, my friend.
Well, as you said, that I agree with you. The question isn't who's going to win. Cena, theoretically, like 99%, I believe Cena will win. What happens with Rhodes is what interests me after this. Because, yeah, I don't want to see 6 months of him chasing Cena. Ultimately, I see Cena losing maybe not losing the belt to him, but I see Rock coming back saying, "All right, you owe me. This was my title. You sold your soul to me," and I see that being Cena's face turn. Turns back
Yeah.
face, retires as a face. I don't know if he loses the title or not. Maybe he
If
retires with the
if he
title
went
and
that
then
route, if he went that see, here's the thing. If he went that route, there's no way they do it right away. They're not going to turn him heel
right,
for like 3 months. They do it at the end, right?
right.
But why would The Rock wait all the way until then and then say, you know, now I want my belt back, you know?
Well, could be a lot of reasons. I can't think of any right now. Cena could be
No,
avoiding him.
it's just something to think of. Yeah, you don't have to answer it right now. Yeah, it's a just something to chew on. But
No, it's a very valid point.
yeah. But in the
Maybe
meantime,
Rock helps him for a while, and then it's okay. You're retiring now. I want the belt.
right, well, and it could be, and it
Yeah,
could
put
come
that thought on it.
and it could come down to maybe even a match, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. Uh But yeah, so that's it. That's WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania 41. As far as all the announced matches so far, I'm sure that they'll throw some other stuff in there. 2 days, April 19th and 20th. I had some people saying that they were surprised it was on Easter. I say it's a great way to spend Easter. It doesn't come on until like 5 or something like that. Well,
Yeah.
out here at least. Even if you're on the East Coast, let's say it comes on at say 3. Most people are like
No,
doing
it's the
like
West Coast.
or West Coast, I'm sorry, yeah. Um, Easter dinner is, from what I've known, is usually like an early affair, like a two,
Yeah.
3 o'clock thing or
Right.
something like that. You have that, you put the pay-per-view on afterwards. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. So we had three different,
So we got three out. We got three up for grabs. So, well, I mean, we're lucky if we have one sometime. So to have three, I
but there are
mean,
a lot of matches. So percentage wise,
yeah, yeah. So we'll see where we land on this. But otherwise, everybody out there, as I said, this is our Super Bowl. This is our Christmas. So happy WrestleMania to everybody. Thank you to everybody who does follow Pinfalls, and this is the turning of our calendar year as well, so to speak. Not from a scoring standpoint, but yeah. So, well, I mean, what, we're tied up lifetime right now, so
lifetime we're tied.
one
Up
of
one this
us
year.
will be ahead of the other. That we've got three on the line, so there will be someone in the lead, you know,
Yeah. Oh, well, unless there's like a count out or double DQ.
outside of extraordinary circumstances, yes. All right. Well, until we come back again, I of
Oh, wait a
course,
minute. There's a three-way. We could both be wrong on those. Oh, wait, no, we didn't split. Yeah, we did. If on the Rollins three-way, if we're both wrong,
and then one of us loses one of each, then we could potentially come back with the same thing. Okay, fine. You know, can't just let the can't just let it go. All
can't.
right, well, let's try signing off again. For Pinfalls, I, of course, have been who else but Tommy Else, and with me, as always, constantly tormenting me, is the man on the beat from Skokie, Illinois, and JohnG'sBeat.com, Mr. Jonathan Pain in my ass, Wroblewski.
Peace.